Hello guys, it's been a while since I did my last reaction video, and also it's been a while since I've done a long form video at all. So today I'm gonna do a reaction video to Animation vs. Minecraft Full Recap Alan Becker Series Part 1. Now I'm pretty sure I've seen the entire Alan Becker series, all of Animator versus Animation, Animation versus Minecraft, the actual shorts, all of it, and haven't done reaction videos to it. So I'm just gonna watch this and see how cool this video is. I'm gonna click on the video. It's a video by Extractalore, a YouTube channel that I am really a really big fan of. Well, not a really big fan. So I'm a fan of Extractalore. I'm gonna watch his newest video. 3, 2, 1, now.
The YouTube animator Alan Becker has two main series on his channel, Animator vs. Animation, which I made a recap of, and Animation vs. Minecraft, which we are talking about today. So let's jump into the first episode, the OG episode. So it starts with the Second Coming stepping on the now old Minecraft logo, which shows a hotbar. The Second Coming is intrigued, so he grabs the Minecraft logo, which basically puts him in creative mode. He then builds a house and shows Green what he can now do. Green messes around with it before running off and doing his own thing. The Second Coming tries to break a block, but
I expected him to start with episode 0, not the original one.
It doesn't break instantly anymore. He mines the block, and upon gathering it, we realize he is now in survival mode. He then learns how to craft. Cut to Green, he has created a working windmill, but then Blue snatches the logo and builds some stuff of his own. And then Yellow grabs it and makes something. Then finally, Red comes in, and upon seeing the logo, he punches Yellow and seems to turn on the rest, before finally escaping through a folder. The gang is confused, but before they go after Red, they start gathering materials.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that the part where they're gathering materials has a lot of inconsistencies with real Minecraft that my brother has pointed out.
And craft some armor and weapons. They then enter the folder, but zombies suddenly attack. They quickly defeat them, enter another folder, and find a...
Did he forget to talk about the folders having ironic names? Well, I don't know if ironic's the right word, though. Names that are similar to everything that happens at that very moment.
Spawner, which they quickly destroy, stopping any more zombies from spawning. But they are then challenged by their next foe, skeletons. With some quick thinking, they create a defense and attack using a dispenser, but then a creeper shows up.
I've heard people critiquing people who pause videos to make reaction videos. Like when they make reaction videos, they pause the videos. Honestly, if I don't pause the video, I could just miss important details while just rambling on about how the get the or rambling on about how something like how piglins are acting different in Animation versus Minecraft episode 20 or something. That's why I'm pausing the video every few seconds just to clarify.
It kinda helped actually. But then another creeper rears its face and blows up, but creates a hole which kinda breaks into the computer and shows some netherrack. They then mine through and end up off the computer monitor and find some more spawners, which they quickly take care of. But then they see Red. They approach him, but he attacks. Yellow then tries to stop him, but fails, until Green actually knocks him down. He goes to grab the Minecraft logo, but then Red glitches a little. Yeah, Herobrine. Red then creates this giant stick figure version.
Oh my gosh. Herobrine. I'm not expecting this video to be that cool. If he forgets to mention episode 0, where we learn why Herobrine does all that.
Version of himself and is dominating in the fight. The Second Coming is knocked to the side while the rest are getting trampled, losing health rapidly. The Second Coming temporarily stops Red before he too is ruthlessly attacked, but he's grabbed by Green and they barely escape. They make it back, but don't really have much to fight with. And
bro, did he forget to mention the flashback to episode 4 there? Bruh.
Red is on his way, so they decide to work with what they got. Red finally breaks into the area, then Green throws a fishing rod with Yellow shortly after, holding him in place. The Second Coming then uses a minecart to make him trip, while Blue grows some trees which breaks the obsidian stick figure. They all then grab the Minecraft logo, barely keeping it away from Red, before the Second Coming finally dunks it into the trash, which removes everything Minecraft. We then...
And of course, he forgets to mention the file names being like about what happens, like
Red before the second
the ultimate showdown. This is the ultimate showdown right there. It says the ultimate showdown.m4a. There's more. Wow.
Coming finally dunks it into the trash, which removes everything Minecraft. We then see that Herobrine was indeed controlling Red, and then Herobrine dies. And then they all hug Red. That was the OG episode. Now we get into the official episode 1, called The Rediscovery. The Second Coming is shown walking around the monitor when he sees an empty spot in the toolbar and remembers that the Minecraft logo was there. He then searches around the computer and rediscovers Minecraft. The others then show up and the Second Coming tries to keep it a secret from the rest at first before caving in and showing everyone. But this time they decide to gather their resources in creative mode and then give it to the next person so no one needs to hug the logo for resources.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Where's the chat GPT? Oh my gosh. Literally skipped episode 0.
But just as Yellow is about to pass it to Red, he gets a flashback and stops. They then create a whole defense area for just in case purposes and then hand Red the Minecraft logo. Red then hilariously pretends to act like he's being taken control of again before then innocently spawning some rabbits. In episode 2, they gather some resources and, well, have a building contest. They're trying to replicate an excavator, which the Second Coming brings up an image of, and he also then sets a timer and the contest is on. Once the time's up, they each show their builds one by one, ending with Green, who wins. And then they blow it up. Yeah, not much lore significance in this episode, but that will be coming up soon. Anyways, in episode 3, we see Yellow mess around with some blocks and then accidentally mine into Alan's computer. He tries to cover it up, but eventually just decides to dig further. After some mining, he finds an abandoned mine shaft.
My theory is that this Minecraft world right here is owned by programmer 021 himself. Just like the other world.
And also finds a minecart and some rails. He messes around with it and decides to build a roller coaster. Once completed, he has the rest go on it and
Phineas and Ferb vibes.
And off they go. Leads through some tunnels, jumps off some slime launchers, and even
What you do? Building.
has some trolls. We then see Yellow waiting at the end, and then In the next episode, we see
that part's still funny to this day.
Blue farming, eating food occasionally. He then tries some nether wart and likes the taste. He puts it in a cauldron and accidentally makes an awkward potion. He places that into a brewing stand and experiments around with it, and eventually teaches himself how to make potions. Cut to Red, he spawns a pig and walks over to Blue's farm, only to find him knocked out from all the drinking. But the pig, yeah, he starts to drink some of the potions and gains a lot of effects. He starts eating all the crops and is going kinda crazy, eventually finding the rest and causing more chaos, and even beats up the second coming. But Blue drinks some potions and starts having an epic battle with the pig. The pig is simply too powerful, but the rest of the gang join and it's a 1v5. The battle is intense, but in the end, the pig's potion effect runs out and it dies from fall damage.
Yeah. Funny.
In the next episode, it starts with Blue trying to create a chicken statue and then accidentally finding a note block. Red and Blue
I like the tune there in episode 5.
Blue experiment around with the block, and Yellow even shows them how to automatically have them play using redstone. Eventually, Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow create a band which wakes the Second Coming up. The Second Coming turns off the volume, but just when he gets back, they turn the volume back on. Yeah, I don't think the Second Coming is getting much sleep. In episode 6, Yellow is messing around with the creative mode hotbar and then finds a command block. He tries to figure it out, but then a note comes out of the block which seems to give him instructions
The /help menu.
on how to use it. Yellow starts experimenting with it and eventually starts trolling Red with
The cake is a lie.
it. Red sees Yellow and they decide to team up. They have Red perform a magic trick show when in reality it's just Yellow pulling all the strings of commands. The magic trick show keeps getting more and more wild, and then lightning strikes a command block, which seems to give it a mind of its own. It's
Wait a minute. New theory I just came up right now. What if those command blocks were fueled? What if the lightning was fueled by green life particles, and then when it struck the command blocks, that's why the command blocks became like alive or got mind of their own?
going haywire. Things are chaos, and the Second Coming walks into the mess. The command blocks start completely messing with everything, but with some quick thinking by the Second Coming, he restarts the PC, which fixes the issue. And then the video ends with them deciding to destroy the command.
And then back then, I thought that was how King Orange got the command block.
In the next episode, the episode starts with everyone peacefully building a house until they start having some disagreements on how it's designed. This goes back and forth until a battle breaks out. Red spawns an iron golem, but the Second Coming and Yellow use dispensers to fight back. The battle keeps going back and forth, and we even see Blue and Red use invincibility potions before eventually getting caught. But Green is about to set off a bunch of TNT, so the Second Coming swoops in and accidentally goes too far by killing Green.
Yeah.
The gang is devastated. Green, however, respawns in the house and pranks everyone by showing up in his own casket, which freaks everyone out, and they accidentally kill him again.
Yeah, that's funny. And if I'm not mistaken, this episode right here is the one where all the lore stuff starts.
In episode 8, Blue and Green are enjoying some cake when a zombie pigman suddenly drops in. They kill it and realize it came from a folder that's emitting strange particles. They jump through and see a portal. They enter it and arrive in the Nether. I'm sorry.
The Nether. It turns out we just stumbled upon a brand new dimension. The Nether have no joy or creativity at all.
Start to explore and realize zombie pigmen aren't really a threat. That is until they accidentally hit one, causing them to be chased by all of them. A whole bunch of nether mobs are chasing,
and that right there is the Nether Fortress where Blue found the Nether Wart. That's confirmed in season 3.
Them when they arrive at a dead end. But just before the mobs reach them, they jump onto a gas.
The happy gas from the happy gas from Minecraft 1.22
then use fishing rods to control the gas and destroy the enemies. They then kill the gas, but before they leave through the portal, they see a mysterious purple stick man leave through a different portal.
We see the purple stick man in Animator versus Animation, episode 11.
Green decide to follow. And this is when the story really picks up. In episode 9, after jumping through, they arrive on someone else's computer, a Mac computer, and they see an active village. Some villagers spot them, pick them up, and start bringing them somewhere. They open up the Finder, travel past some more houses, and open up the iCloud Drive, which reveals Purple's castle, where we see him handing out some quartz. The villagers bring Blue and Green to Purple, and Blue and Green are happy to see another stick figure. They show off that they have quartz as well, and the villagers seem very interested, so Blue and Green start generously handing them out. But Purple is not a fan, and he orders them to be thrown in jail, which
That would, because handing out quartz would destroy their economy. I know a tiny bit about economics, and though it's enough to know that creating new money and handing it out would cause prices to skyrocket and would be just unfair for Purple's empire.
is successful for a few seconds because, well, they have pickaxes and can mine out. But just kidding, it wasn't actually that easy, as an iron golem and villager forced them back. But after some bribery with the villager, they are set free. Another villager sees them, and they also show off their resources, which draws more and more until there's a giant crowd trading with Blue and Green. Purple is losing villagers fast and decides to check out what's going on and does not like what he sees. But just then, the villagers go back to Purple's castle and give it
Good. This guy knows that Purple is a he, not a she.
some renovations with their new resources that they just got. Purple changes his mind and makes Blue and Green kings as well. Purple then shows them a secret passageway which leads to an end portal, which Purple opens up, and the episode ends with them jumping through. In episode 10, we start with the second coming, Yellow and Red, trying to figure out what happened when they see the folder and find the nether portal. Cutting to the end dimension, we see Purple, Blue, and Green spawn in. Blue starts attacking the ender dragon with a bow and arrow, but the end crystals heals its health back up. Blue then decides to use a fishing rod and launches Green onto the dragon, who then sticks a diamond sword into its neck to control it. Blue and Purple tag along and lead the dragon away from the end crystals, which freak out and believe that the ender dragon has been defeated, causing them to spawn the dragon egg and ignite the portal in the center. And this valuable dragon egg seems to catch Purple's attention. Cutting back to Yellow, Red, and the second coming, we see them asking around for Blue and Green. Luckily, one of the villagers actually saw where they went and decides to show them. Meanwhile, Blue is slowly killing the dragon before getting slammed in.
I'm currently waiting for confirmation that this guy, agrees that Blue and Green are girls in Animator versus Animation and Animation versus Minecraft.
Into an engine, causing him and Purple to fall on. Back to Green, the diamond sword falls out and the dragon starts heading back to the center islands with Green stuck on its back. Blue, however, finds a switch.
Okay, so based off of what I'm seeing here, this is likely going to be about seasons 1 and 2.
And starts moving the end ship to chase after them.
Considering that, wait, no, season 1? Wait, let's see. I'm gonna measure this. So season 1 is 14 episodes. This is approximately half of this, and it's episode 10. So yeah, seasons 1 and 2, because the last episode of season 2 is episode 19.
And as he does this, Purple enters the ship and finds an elytra. But a shulker then shoots at him. Purple dodges, and we see the projectile cause something to levitate. Anyways, the ender dragon has practically made its way back, but Blue grabs it with a fishing rod, ties it to the ship, and shifts the ship in reverse, dragging the dragon backwards. The dragon then kicks Green off, and he falls onto the ship, and Purple,
Wait, let me see that. Let me check that again.
dragging the dragon backwards. The dragon then kicks Green off, and he falls onto the ship, and
He, the He. There are multiple pieces of evidence that Green and Blue are she's in Animator versus Animation and Animation versus Minecraft.
And Purple, obsessed with the dragon egg, leaps off the ship and heads for the island. The dragon then uses its breath against Blue and Green, which starts disintegrating the ship. Thankfully, a shulker hits them and causes them to float, but they are running out of duration with the levitation effect. Purple sees them and has to choose between the dragon egg and Blue and Green. And Purple chooses the dragon egg. The levitation effect then runs out and Blue and Green are starting to fall. But just in the nick of time, the second coming comes out of nowhere and grabs them. We then see that the second coming, red, yellow, and the villagers help to pull this off, and they bring them to safety. Anyways, Purple grabs the dragon egg and leaves, so that causes the Ender Dragon to fly after him. We then cut to Purple in his castle, but the piece is quickly interrupted with the Ender Dragon flying into the mech. The rest of the game make their way back and see the chaos that the dragon is causing, but the Ender Dragon is simply looking for its egg, which Purple realizes and reluctantly gives the egg back, which actually then hatches a baby Ender Dragon. The dragon and her baby leave, and yeah, people aren't quite happy with Purple's actions.
The animation error. Dragon's tail is still there.
And he then gets carried away. Anyways, the color gang leaves the Mac through the portal, but just as they're making their way back to the portal that leads to Alan's PC, they realize that there are a whole bunch more portals. And that's how episode 10 ends. Speak about the number 10, I just hit 10,000 subscribers.
Wow. Well, though I'm kind of watching this so that I can see the um videos from Animation versus Minecraft being recapped, not subscriber milestones. I can literally just look at your profile picture right here.
Thank you guys so much. Subscribing is the best way to keep me motivated to continue making content on YouTube.
And now back to the show!
In episode 11, we see the gang interested in exploring the portals, except for the second coming who decides to head back home, while the rest travel through this portal right here. They then end up on Skyblock. They start looking around and gather some resources before accidentally kinda sorta losing most of them. Thankfully, they brought their own. Cut back to the second coming, we see him relaxing on the beach. But he does miss his friends. Back at Skyblock, the color gang did a little mining off camera and created a giant base with a mob farm. Back at Alan's PC, the second coming is reminiscing about his friends when he somehow realizes that they are now in trouble.
His powers. It's his powers. It's Extractalore. It's his powers. Remember from episode 8?
The color gang isn't doing so hot, so they finally decide to start heading back to the portal in which they came from. But just as the second coming is about to enter the portal and help, a gas blows it up and he starts getting chased around before the second coming flees through a different portal. And back at Skyblock, the portal closes just as they are about to enter, trapping them. In episode 12, the second coming ends up in a different world and we see a bunny rabbit. The second coming asks the rabbit if it has seen his friends, and the rabbit seems to say yes and brings the second coming to a woodland mansion.
Brings the second coming to a woodland mansion.
We see a bunch of raw rabbit on the rabbit's table, but it quickly takes it off and puts some different food on top. Yeah, he's definitely not a cannibal for real trust. The rabbit then tries to kill the second coming when he's distracted, but thankfully the second coming turns around just in time. Cut back to Skyblock, the rain finally stops, which causes the mobs to start burning. The color gang then decides to go down and fight. Back at the woodland mansion, the rabbit keeps trying to kill the second coming, but fails over and over until the second coming finally realizes.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, probably. I don't know. That's probably my favorite part. Just 2 anvils and then arrows.
The rabbit's murder attempts. The second coming and the killer bunny then start to battle, but the bunny brings some pillagers into the mix. The second coming eventually kills them all off, but after he exits, yeah, the rabbit is mentally.
And that is why the episode used to be called TNT Land.
insane and has placed a bunch of TNT. The killer bunny then sets it off and they race to the portal, but the second coming distracts the rabbit with cannibalism, raw rabbit, and the second coming escapes. Cutting back, the color gang has successfully killed all the mobs, or so they thought, as a spider knocks Red off the map. However, instead of there being a void, there's actually water at the bottom, and the episode ends with the rest jumping off. In episode 13, we see the color gang start exploring the ocean below, but they start to drown and swim back to the surface. Just then, a dolphin shows up and gives the gang
Thanks for reminding me what that episode was. I've been trying to remember.
enchanted turtle helmets, which allows them to breathe underwater. We then see the Dolphin King sending fish off onto a mission. The dolphin then brings the gang to the Dolphin King, who also seems to set them off on the mission. Cutting back to the second coming, we see him re-enter the nether, but then he runs into some more trouble and gets chased into a different portal. Yeah, he can't catch a break. Now he's stuck in the cave system, but he's not going to give up searching for his friends. Back in the Dolphin Kingdom, we see what's really going on. The Dolphin Queen has been kidnapped, and this is where the fish army come into play, lunging into an attack, but they're quickly killed off by the Guardians. But then the color gang arrive and easily take the Guardians out and start traveling through the ocean monument. They find the room where the queen is trapped and drain the room with sponges, stopping the elder guardian, and they escape with the queen. The kingdom celebrates their victory. The color gang ask about the portal, and the dolphins have a map which they hand to them. They start following it, but are dragged down by a current into an underwater cave, where they come across some drowned and flee the scene. After some quick swimming, they end up in an opening, safe from the drown, and Green misses the second coming, who is right there?
Green misses the second coming. Who was right there?
Green hits his head on the wall, which causes
It's funny how much Extractalore uses the yippee sound effect.
the second coming to hear him, and he mines through and they reunite. But now they gotta find their way back home. In episode 14, the Stick Gang is searching for the portal when suddenly Red disappears, and then the second coming too. We then see the reason why: cave spiders. Yellow's being dragged away and Green and Blue chase after him, but then see a whole army of cave spiders, including their queen. Green makes a distraction and Blue gives the rest some milk to remove the poison effect. Now they are running for their lives while being chased by the cave spider army. They find a minecart and hop in, but the cave spiders enter some minecarts too. They then get snagged by a web, but quickly hop into a new minecart, placing a TNT in the previous, blowing the spiders up. They celebrate, but it's quickly cut short. The cave spiders are still right on their tail. Yellow has a firework, but the spiders use their web to gain more speed. The Yellow Uno reverse cars them with more fireworks, but their troubles are far from over, as a huge gap is coming up. With some quick block placing skills, the second coming and Green start finishing the track as they are riding it. They pass the gap, but another one is coming up, and they are completely out of rails. With some quick thinking, they grab another minecart and jump across the gap, barely clearing it. But the spiders also clear the gap. And then the track literally ends and the Stick Gang start to freefall. But while in the air, an epic battle breaks out against the spiders. They land back on the track and continue their battle before eventually winning. But then the track ends. Yeah, they can't catch a break. And this time, lava is below them. Red searches his hotbar and finds some chickens. Cutting back to the queen, a spider tells her that the Stick Gang have gotten away. So she decides to go after them herself. Anyways, we see that the chickens actually saved the gang, and once they make it back to land, they even see a portal, but they're stopped in their tracks by the cave spider queen. A battle commences with the color gang giving it their best, but eventually they are tied up one by one until it's just the second.
One thing I wonder is, how did the second coming get back to the, or how did the second coming cross that giant gap of lava and stuff?
Second coming. That is until a wither randomly shows up and starts attacking the queen, allowing the gang to sneak away. They travel through the nether and make their way back to Alan's PC and decide that, yeah, it's best to destroy the portal. In the next episode, Yellow is teaching.
I knew it. He's gonna include parts of the second season, or even the entire thing.
The rest about redstone and how it all works. He drops the gang through the ground and continues to teach them about various topics like repeaters and pistons. There's even a section where Yellow teaches them about AND gates, OR gates, etc. After that, he sets up a redstone competition. Each of the stick figures are hard at work, with the second coming and Green hilariously trying to one-up each other as the competition progresses. Eventually, Yellow is ready to judge. First, Red shows off his animal washing contraption, then Blue shows his automatic potion setting up machine, and then we see that the second coming has literally made 2D Minecraft. And what about Green?
Terraria, I think it's called.
Well, he replicated 3D Minecraft with redstone. And now it's time for Yellow to choose a winner, and Red is the winner. But hey, at least the second coming is nice enough to give Green his own trophy. In episode 16, we see Green playing with some no blocks, but others try and chime in with their own melody before quickly getting kicked out by Green. Yellow, Red, and Blue decide to get back at him by spawning a chicken and giving it a potion of musicality. We then have a no block battle between the chicken and Green, and eventually the rest drink the potions and join in, and it keeps getting more and more insane. The chicken and Green even have this charged guitar thing to continue the battle. That's when the second coming has finally had it with the noise, and he himself joins in and blows everyone away with his talent. And then he goes back to sleep. In episode
Blows everyone away with his tongue. You create shockwave.
17, we see the gang having another build battle, creating a harvester. After the 5 minutes are up, the second coming is ready to rate the build. We see Red's creation, then Yellow's, then Blue's, and finally Green's build, and he wins. They also try to blow it up, but to no avail this time. Next, the theme for the build battle is a toy robot. Once the time's up, we first see Red's, then Yellow's, then Blue's, and then Green's build is seemingly gone until it comes into frame and blows everyone away with how well it's made. Yeah, Green won. We then see the last build battle of the video, which is to replicate a bear. Everyone's builds are going well, but Green accidentally spawns a wither. While the second coming rates the builds, Green is unsuccessfully trying to get the rest's attention. They then get the Green's build, but
This is so. This is so. One thing I know is that there's barely any lore significance in season 2.
see that it's all blown up. So the second coming gives the win to Blue. In episode 18, we see the Stick Gang's house. Everyone is doing their own thing, and Yellow seems to be climbing somewhere. Red then goes to sleep, and upon waking up, he sees that the textures are changing around. He looks outside and sees a folder shaking around and decides to investigate and quickly finds the culprit, Yellow. Yeah, he's swapping things around. Red tries to stop Yellow, but then the parrots seem to be interested in their texture and have Yellow change the colors. Red finally decides to join in on the fun, but after some messing around, they soon realize the disaster they created. While the rest are sleeping, Red and Yellow sneakily replace the blocks with the correctly textured block, even if the block itself isn't correct. The rest finally wake up and start to realize that something is up, but they quickly piece together the culprit, Yellow. They try and enter his room, but it's blocked off, which allows Red to escape through a hatch, and Yellow then lets the rest in. You see, Red and Yellow have a plan. Yellow makes it look like his contraption is the one messing up the textures, but in reality, it's just Red in the texture folder. Then Red sets the blocks to black. The trolling intensifies as Red makes some of the blocks look like hostile mobs, which sends the rest running. Eventually, they figure out what's really going on, and they battle each other. They even figure out which items are actually weapons as the war goes on, but eventually some TNT is set and blows everything up. Cut to later, the Stick Gang is simply adjusted to the new messed up textures. In episode 19, we see a lucky block spawn in. They break it and are given resources. Green and the second coming then figure out how to create some more. They start taking
I feel like he's also going to include part of season 3, considering that so far everything has been like a minute. Every episode's been on average like a minute 30 seconds ish long.
taking turns breaking them, getting some positive results and some negative. Yellow, on the other hand, unscrews his lucky block and takes the top off, finding this little light right here. He then travels through it and ends up in this lucky dimension, with these question block things seemingly transporting stuff into lucky blocks that people break. Yellow then sees this orb thing randomly creating everything. Yellow picks it up and can control
Lucky orb.
what he spawns. He travels back to everyone else and starts showing it off. Everyone finds it really cool. That is, until the orb starts controlling Yellow, knocking him out of his own body and transporting him to this cell right here. This orb-controlled Yellow starts fighting the Stick Gang. Meanwhile, the real Yellow uses a lucky block and
Wait a minute.
orb-controlled Yellow starts fighting the Stick Gang. Meanwhile, the
I feel like this part right here kind of proves my theory.
real Yellow uses a lucky block and transports himself back to the lucky dimension. He travels
My theory that the Minecraft game icon puts the blocks in the last Minecraft world the player was in, considering that there's like the holographic projection thing from episode 24 and this part right here from episode 19 where
Meanwhile, the real Yellow
out is kind of proof.
uses a lucky block and transports himself back to the lucky dimension. He travels back to Alan's PC and tries to regain control but is failing. So he goes back to the lucky dimension and uses the question mark thingies. It
He's in spectator mode.
allows him to see Alan's PC and transport stuff to help the Stick Gang. But even with Yellow's help, Orb Yellow gets Blue controlled as well. And eventually, after some more
It's Lucky Yellow, not Orb Yellow.
controlling, it's only Red left. The Stick Gang are now helping Red in the lucky dimension, and with their help, Red is fighting strong. But then he gets caught. But just before Red loses control,
Lucky
he
Pig.
spawns in a pig, which the color gang gives weapons and abilities to. The
Why do I call it Lucky Pig? It's not controlled by the Lucky Orb.
pig is now fighting the Orb Gang and eventually gets the orb knocked out of Yellow, sending it back to the lucky dimension into its original spot, which fixes the mess and returns everything back to normal. The second coming then shows a different lucky block and the episode ends with everyone freaking out. In episode 20,
Knew it.
at the start, we see
I called it.
Blue making some food while munching on his favorite snack, Netherwort. When suddenly he realizes that he's out. He decides that he needs to gather some more, so he sneaks by the others and recreates the portal and enters the Nether. Blue realizes
Totally new dimension. The Nether. Place had no joy or creativity at all. Ruled by that sorceress leader Malgosha.
that the Nether has changed quite a bit since his last visit, which is because of the 1.16 update. He tries some stuff but doesn't like the taste when suddenly a baby pig visits him. Blue shows him a picture of Netherwort,
Did he just say baby pig? It's baby pig Lynn.
and the baby piglin leads Blue to his tribe. But
Okay.
the piglins are aggressive. Blue manages to flee and lose them, but the baby piglin comes back and gives Blue a gold helmet.
Did you just say pigling?
Aggressive. Blue manages to flee and lose them, but the baby piglin comes back and gives Blue a gold helmet. Blue comes back and the piglins accept him because he is wearing gold. And they then decide to bring Blue to where the Netherwort grows. Meanwhile, the rest of the color gang finally realize that there's another portal. Red spawns a pig and gives him Blue's send, and off they go to find Blue. Cut back to Blue, they are still on their journey when he accidentally drops his gold helmet off the Nether fortress, causing the piglins to turn on him. Blue escapes and tries to run away, but suddenly an army of zombified piglins are coming from the other way. Chaos ensues as the piglins and the zombified piglins battle. Eventually, Blue falls off the bridge, but luckily lands on a strider, and he realizes that his gold helmet survive too. Blue quickly figures out how to control the Striders by using warped fungus, and he makes it
My theory is that the warped fungus actually was the reason why he not only got saved, though also why he didn't completely lose his helmet. They were like following him from underneath. Wait, did I just say he? No, they were following him because of another the helmet fell.
his way back to land. But the piglins are being chased, so Blue guides them onto the Striders and they escape. However, some zombified piglins jump out of the lava and grab the baby piglin. Blue doesn't hesitate and jumps in after to save him. The rest of the piglins turn back and rescue the baby and Blue. But then Blue's helmet falls off. The piglins remain friendly because of what Blue has done. They eventually reach land and it's time for Blue to say goodbye as he arrived at his destination. But when he gets to where the nether wart normally is, there's none in sight. Cutting back to the rest, they are on their way to find Blue. Blue meanwhile sees nether wart fall to him and it's from the second coming? Now cutting back to the stick gang, they run into the piglins. But because the pig they're with is friends with the gang, the piglins become friends too. They ask about Blue and the tribe points them in the correct direction. They finally get to where Blue should be, but he's not there. And then we see this.
Yeah, that's the witch.
The second coming imposter leads Blue through the portal and follows him. And I think that's going to be where I end the episode. The story is about to get crazy and they'll
I'm pretty sure he's probably going to include Animation versus Minecraft episode 0 in part 2. And yeah.